Aloha, guys. I'm Dazin Hakias. I am the host of Healing with Aloha Podcast, located on the island of Kauai. Today, I am so glad you guys get to meet Karina. So, I love Instagram, but I'm also on TikTok. And while I was on TikTok last year, I was able to come across her. So, Karina is a life coach who helps women, specifically moms, to get their, she says, freaking lives together. And she has been mentoring and leading the community. She's out. Hi. Hello. How are you? Hi, Mandy. Mandy's in the UK. Hi. So she's going to be coming on. I think social media has been a great place for us to connect to people that, we may never meet in person, but we can relate to them because they share the same values as us. And so sometimes the people we love that were in their lives, hey, Sacramento, hi guys. Sometimes people that we love, that we've known the longest, they just don't have the same vision, the same dreams, goals, ideas, and so it's important for us to find our tribe, as they say, people who can understand us and we can encourage each other. For me, through Instagram, I found a great grief support group and mental health awareness group here. There's no judgment. People just want to see you do well. And when you express that you're not, doing okay in life, that there's no judgment. There's a desire to just support you. And, some people are trained. Some people just have lived experiences. So they're able to be there for you in ways that your family, friends, and coworkers can't be. And so I mainly here on Instagram and on TikTok for Healing with Aloha. And then, I'm on other platforms, but I've been able to find some amazing people through this platform. And so here's Karina. Just a second here. Hi. Hi, guys. I'm going to invite Karina to the conversation. She's my... Hi.
Hi.
Hello. I was just telling them about how through Instagram and Facebook, Instagram and TikTok, I've been able to find a lot of great people, talk about like mental health, to talk about grief and loss, and just such beautiful people. Like you may never see them, but you find them. And so I was telling them,
I thought you meant me through Instagram. I didn't even know it was.
No, I've been following you. No, so guys, gotta hear this. It's so funny. So okay. I didn't know you were on Instagram. I was following you on TikTok, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I always like try to respond and stuff. And then I realized, I was like, how when you click in the bio, then it shows that you're on Instagram. I was like, oh, she's on Instagram. Oh, I could have been following her all the time because I'm on
gotcha.
Instagram.
That's crazy.
But I found you on
That's
TikTok.
So good. God.
Yes. So, hi guys, I see people are just joining us. Aloha, I'm Dazin Hakias. I'm the host of the Healing with Aloha podcast, located on one of the Hawaiian islands called Kauai.
And hi everybody, my name is Karina F. I'm a life coach and the podcast host of One Day at a Time. I love helping women just get their lives back, and I'm in New Jersey and New York on this side.
Oh! See, I'm connecting with people from the East Coast. And I've never been, so it's on my bucket list. And
don't come to me. It's cold right now. Too. Not a good. Yeah, don't come right now.
yeah, no, not right now. So I know we have a limited time, but I just wanted to dive in. I just have to say the reason why I really respect you is just you just keep it real. You're loving, but you're direct, because a lot of us, we grew up with families and people around us that we trust. And we find that the people we think we can trust, they're basing their feedback their advice to us out of fear. And so people come around the corner and like, I have a dream, I have a goal, I want to do this or that. And the very people we supposed to trust tells us don't go after being an entrepreneur, don't switch careers, don't, you know, break up with someone or whatever. And what I find it through what I see on TikTok, and now I know it's on Instagram, is you are identifying healthy and toxic relationships, whether it's personal or professional, and the importance of identifying that and being okay with not getting people's approval. And so that's what attracted me to you. And so I wanted you to have a chance to share with people, why did you start talking about these things? And did you see something that was going on with people you know?
And thank you so much for even having me here. Like, I'm just grateful for your time. Just to some space on your platform, on everybody's like little squares in your platform. Gracias, and just even I just feel so grateful that you reached out and we're here together talking about, you know, like what can be a very sensitive topic to most, and some of us go through our entire lives never unpacking relationships and just thinking that it is the standard. A lot of times I've met people who, including myself, who thought that a lot of their toxic relationships were just standard, like they didn't even see them as toxic. And now I feel like there are so many waves of influence where people are really getting just like that face, like, wow, like, okay, I didn't even know I could tag that as something that was toxic. A very small example for me was the first time that I realized that my mom should never have to do everything. Like, I think I was young, possibly a teenager, and I realized that there shouldn't be gender roles. Like, it shouldn't be just on the mom to cook and clean and take care of the kids. And even looking back now, and I don't know if anybody can agree with me, you can just give a little heart review. My mom is here. Hi, Mom. Rosa, that's my mom.
Where? Which one is your mom?
And,
hi, Auntie.
So,
well, in Hawaii, we say
my mom
Auntie.
and I always have this conversation about back in the day. And one of the things we talk about is just how much generationally women in our family really lose themselves through the sort of like impression that they feel like they have to give as moms, right? Like, there's no time, there's no time for dating your husband. Work. There's no time for doing anything. There's only time for band-aids. And by band-aids, I mean there's only time for like short getaways and little birthday parties and gifts, but there's no self-care time. There's no time for, you know, her to start a new hobby, for her to figure out who she really is outside of the walls of marriage and being a mother, right? So back to your original question, what really interested me about toxic relationships is, like, I felt like I really grew up with a standardization of who I was supposed to be as a child, a daughter, who I was supposed to be as a sister, as a student, and then my professional career, and then when I became a wife, and even as a friend. And so what ended up happening was that I was really becoming a checklist human, and I was like just knocking things off of a list, like getting my college degree, check, getting my check, right? Getting a 401k, check, getting my first job, check, getting married, having a baby. It was just like one thing after another, and I didn't even realize that I was a workaholic. I didn't realize that I had toxic people in my life. So it wasn't just like toxic relationships, it was also toxic habits. Like, full disclosure, like, I really believe in taking accountability for some of the decisions that I decided to make, whether or not they were impacted by the standardization of the past generation, right? And I broke my foot one day, and it forced me to stop. And when I stopped, to answer your question, was the day I woke up. When everything stopped, I realized who really was in my life, what really mattered, and I realized where all the holes were. And I had to do a lot of work, but that's the answer to your question. That's what happened.
No, and sometimes we don't realize that
Yeah.
that's redirection. You know what I mean? At the time, it hurts. Like for you, it's your foot. It physically hurt. For me, when my sister died back in 2001, she was in a vehicle accident, and it hurt. It shattered me. It, you know, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and the recovery took time. But when I look back, it was a gift because I went through therapy and I unlayered trauma that happened before she died. And for a lot of us, we weren't encouraged to talk about our feelings and our emotions because our parents weren't given that ability to share their feelings and emotions about life and mental health. And so by me getting help, I was able to unlayer, like take off layers of things, of toxic situations and environments and events. Had my sister not died, I don't know if I would have gotten help. And it was the things before she died that was the thing that I have to process, the pain. And so I'm more compassionate, I have more empathy than if I didn't go through it. And so that's why I think that's the gift for me. I don't think it's a gift that she died. I just think the
I'm so sorry to hear
is a gift
and what went on. So my condolences. The other thing I wanted to share was like I'm really stubborn, and I'm you know, recover from that. I only shared with you like 10%. So like after I broke my foot, I asked IT to duplicate my hard drive so I could work from home. You see, like that is still right. And then right after I broke my foot, I lost 80% of my hearing. My my son almost died. Very routine ear tube surgery. Then my husband was diagnosed with Lyme disease. Then our car was totaled in front of our home 3 times. And then I got a persistent infection in my body that caused me to live with a strain for 2 years and 5 surgeries. So God knew that he could, like, I just couldn't break my foot. Like, I was so, I'm telling you, it was like, you know, some people, they just need a little wake up call. I need a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I've never taken the opportunity to reflect. And I felt like I had to be so stripped of so much for me to see. And then I entered for 2 years, I call my cave season. It was a time where I said to myself, I'm going to go into a cave of privacy. And those that love me will understand. And those that do not understand are going to be offended. And it's with the day that I realized that people's offense is not my assignment. As a recovering people pleaser myself, I had made it my assignment to make sure that everybody was okay with who I was as an individual. And that is not how I wanted to spend my time on earth anymore.
Yeah, I continuously have to work on not trying to people please people too. My grandmother passed away in 2019, and my mom was starting to burn out from taking care of her because she babysat, she's retired and whatnot. And I'm like you step back and you're like, okay, I'm at a crossroad again. Like, what do I do? And my grandma's advice was, you gotta do what makes you happy, because in the end, you can't blame no one. And I cried because I was like, man, I'm at the highest paying job I've ever had, you know, at that point in 2019. But I was like, my mom is physically burning out as a caretaker. And so I ended up resigning from my job so that I could focus on taking care of my grandmother and my son. So then my mom could just take care of herself. And my mom was mad. So yes, I was right. She got upset because she felt like, you know, you left something really good. But her health got restored. And she didn't have the same stress because I took on that. And I think, like, people pleasing, it's not even worth it. You know, and like you said, you check, and then you don't check off, are you happy? Like, am I happy? Like, I'm achieving, but am I happy? You know? So did you find that because you were able to isolate and go within yourself, that it was easier to be aware of who was legit and who were
I think
in your
I
life,
started to really I grew up with a family that is like super inviting. Like the saying is like the doors are always open, right? And whoever wants to come
Yeah.
over, and it was always like that. And I realized that not everybody can handle your fortune and blessings when they may not be at a place in their lives where they don't like. And it's not your job to nurse that, right? Like it's not my job to nurse and help everybody through that. And so it was honestly an opportunity for me to be able to see not about who was legit and who wasn't, but who may not have the spirit and space in their hearts to be okay with where I was. And mind you, like I'm not perfect at all, but I think that everybody has their own pool of blessings, and it really takes a lot of personal work within yourself to offset the jealousy, to offset the envy, and know that their blessings were meant for them and yours are meant for you, and yours will come. And it may not be time, it may be like 10 years apart, but how much are you willing to put your ego aside and be around folks that you perceive, have more than you? And I think that's what it helped me see, that like there are certain people that I can't have around in my life because, my light stings them. They don't feel good. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've had people in the last couple of years even come over and not be able to stay. Like, not because I'm telling them to leave, but within an hour, like they just don't want to, like they just can't, like it's so much peace and joy. They need to exit for a reason. Yeah, it's been like the God is good. Like if it's so interesting, because even when I pray about, events or stuff happening in my house, I ask the Lord to listen, if you got to change some schedules around, do what you got to do. We were going to host a party, I think it was like of 20 something people. And I remember praying that morning and God saying, you can't have this party. And me being like, what am I going to tell everybody? And within an hour, 20 people canceled. Not making any of this up. Happened. And it was like God just took care of it. And then we just had to tell that one person, like, sorry, nobody's coming. Yeah.
Right. No, but I think when I was talking about like finding out people who's legit, like I love people, and I love people in my family and my friends, but because entrepreneurship it's not 9 to 5, there's like a divide, right? Some people are like, I work 9 to 5, and then some people work on entrepreneurs. The problem is people shouldn't think they're better than. You know what I mean? Like, oh, because I'm an entrepreneur, I'm better than the people who work 9 to 5. Well, in my honest opinion, if it wasn't for the 9 to 5, you wouldn't have a job. You know what I mean? But what I'm so like my family, I'm like left field and everybody's on the right. And so I've had to like embrace that this is who they are, but I gotta be me. And so sometimes I felt like it's easy for us to not play small, but like to not want to do what we love because we don't want to rock the boat in feeling weird or different. But sometimes the people you would hope to have the support for you pursuing your dreams will be there, but they don't, because that's not their path. And I think like I got divorced, and I felt shame. Because culturally, you get married to stay married, and you grow old and you become a grandparent and stuff. But I think like when I look at people, sometimes we want approval of people that are in our lives, that we miss out on being the best version of us. And like the video that I posted of you, I don't know if you've seen the video I used that you spoke about, like if you decide to change, that it doesn't matter if people accept it. That's your journey, and that's okay. And that's what I wanted people to understand, exactly that at any time you can change and it's okay. But if people are going to criticize you for that change, whether they're family or not, you can love them, pray for them, but doesn't mean you have to let their opinion of you hold you back from growing and maturing and being you, you know. But yeah, like even the way you spoke on it, I was like, dude, that's deep. But that's true. But like people don't get told to, hey, at any point, I don't care if you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, you can change
absolutely.
the direction of your life.
I always say this to a lot of my clients, which is like, the goal is never to stop the hurt, to stop the uncomfortable situations, to like, that's never the goal, to like stop the stuff that we don't like in life. The goal is to just manage our thoughts about it. And I think that, you know, self-coaching yourself is one of the, or getting, or hiring a coach, whatever route you want to take, is like one of the most powerful things to do, because you're literally walking yourself through a process, right? So like, even recently, yesterday, I shared a very intimate moment about feeling guilty about some of the things that I've been blessed with. And I had to self-coach myself back to the fact that I know I deserve this. I know it's not even that I earned it. It's just that like, I know this was meant for me, you know, because even sometimes I have to talk to my things, right? Because even that place comes from like, the mentality that like I have to work so hard in order to just gain a little, an inch
To get,
right. And even in full transparency, even like about my business, my life coaching business, I even had a thought about like, I'm not going to be able to handle my 9 to 5 with my business. And then my business coach said to me, Karina, if you can build your business on 10 hours a week, can you imagine what you can do if you didn't?
If you had more.
It was right.
Yeah.
Back to, you're
but
absolutely
it's a
right.
perspective thing, right? It's a, and, you know, I was gonna ask you because so I'm mixed race. So, you know, my family, I come from immigrant family. You know, like I'm part Hawaiian, but then my family immigrated from the Philippines, right? And so, you know, they're used to like working like this, and then so like you, like we put a cap on our ability to like for you for coaching. Is like, what if more people want to work with me? So what's wrong with that? Don't you enjoy it? Yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, well, you know, like we don't realize that we can go above the ceiling of what we place on ourselves. Not society has a ceiling, but we can break through that ceiling.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's almost surreal though, like, wow, you know. But like, that's what I realized, like with God, is like God's gonna do what seems impossible to people be possible, you know. And you just gotta walk into the light, you know what I mean, and shine your light. And I mean, who would have thought like I would have found you on TikTok of all places, you know? And TikTok has this thing, I don't know if you guys are on TikTok, but they suggest people to you. So if you're looking at one video, it'll like, and you scroll up, it'll give you more people similar that you don't follow. So unless you click on the following, you'll see the people you follow. But on the FYP, it'll suggest people you might like. And then when you, after I watch one video, and if I stay on the FYP and I scroll up, it'll just show people talking about similar topics. And so they suggested you to me at one point last year, and then that's how I found you. But like, you know, who would have known that you just showing up and doing like your quit, hey guys, and you're always in the van. Is it like a car?
I would always make the video after I drop my kids off
last year, guys.
And before I went to work, I would just always make them in my car. But now I commute to work, so now I just make them at the train station. And I don't really, I don't care who's looking. But yeah, and I was actually thinking this morning, like, Karina, you probably look like a fool, you know. But I was like, who cares? Like, not a fool on camera, like,
like TikTok is very casual.
Getting on the train at like 6 o'clock in the morning, like whatever. But I was gonna mention about like this morning. I was actually sharing this with a client call I had today, and we were talking about ovarian, and I heard so when I wake up in the morning, I usually read scripture, I'll pray, and then after, as I'm getting ready, I'll YouTube whatever I'm feeling, right? Like feeling or like need help with, right? So like
nice.
some days I Google like prayers for anxiety or prayers for worry, right? So today I Googled like prayers for worry. And it's so interesting. The guy in the video, he said that worrying is having faith in fear. Never about it like that. Like, you have so much faith in the fear that these horrible things will happen. And I was like, what? Yeah,
that didn't happen. That may never happen.
Right?
No, so you know what I learned? You're gonna. So I learned last year that on the other side of fear is love. Right? Because you know when they say, like the song, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Hi guys. It's really, I look at shining your light as just showing aloha and just showing you care. Because a lot of you are like, oh, everybody got to know you. No, like shine your light. Like God is the essence of love, and just shine his light by loving people in your life, whether it's virtually or in person. And it'll come in different gestures, opening the door, listening to someone talk, But I was like, if you break it down like that, then the fear of failing is not going to be there because you just care. And everybody can care. You don't have to have money to care.
Well, listen, I have to go soon.
I know. I was like, oh, shucks. we have a few more minutes, guys. But what is one thing like you wanted to share before we leave?
I guess, listen, like, I know that the world has been so crazy the last 2 years. I mean, like, unimaginably crazy. And we've suffered a lot. We've had a lot of loss, and we've had a lot of hurt, and we had a lot of pain. At the same time, I'm pretty sure that a lot of that gave us a lot of revelations, a lot of discoveries, and a lot of discernment for your life. And so one piece of advice I would give you is to ask yourself, what are you going to do with all the information? Will you just continue living your life aimlessly and going about it the way we did years ago? Or will you do something about it? Is it time to change now? Listen, I know how it feels like you're like, oh my God, but I have to change like 30 million things. No. One, like that's why my podcast is called One Day at a Time. One day at a time. I have a really good friend who always says slow and steady wins the race. She's right. Like one thing at a time. Don't try to work on like your relationship with God, decluttering your house, and working at the same time. Like it's just like take your time. The rush that you feel to get things done is a disillusioned mindset that you created. It's imaginary. You created that clock. You created the fact that it's going to go off. When in reality, the rush that you create, you made that up. So you get to set your own timeline. You get to set your own guidelines. You get to set your own standards. If you need to outsource things in your life, like laundry, cooking, cleaning, I don't care what it is, to give you some respite, then do what you need to do. That's my advice. Do what you need to do in this season of your life so that you can breathe and feel good. Because the one thing I always tell my clients is that if you don't put yourself first, everybody else comes last. And what I mean by that is if you don't put yourself first, everybody gets the last of you. So put yourself first. Unless if you really care about them, put yourself first so they don't get the last of you. The part that's already exhausted and tired, let them get the full you.
Yeah.
Right. And this was awesome, everybody. My name again is Karina F. Daves. I'm a life coach and podcast host of One Day at a Time. You can follow me at Karina F. Daves on all platforms, TikTok, here, my website, Karina F. Daves. And yeah, if you need me, you know where to find me. This was so good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You have a great day. Aloha, guys.